Live now.
We
Chargers
froze?
Truther. Now I'm right here. We all good. We're live now. Chargers
Okay.
Truther. I'm honored to be here with a 60-year Chargers fan veteran, Tony Pugliese. Thank you for coming. How you doing, man?
It's an honor to meet your family. You get the opportunity to meet fellow Charger fans that enjoy what we do, enjoy our team, support our team, and when they do good, we let them know. When they don't, we let them know. So it's an
Yeah,
honor to be here, and I thank you for sharing your
yeah,
time with me.
absolutely. You as well. Cheers, brother. Right here.
Cheers, brother. Salud.
Salute. All right, man. So I guess we're gonna before we jump into all that, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, your life and all that.
Sure. So, I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. My parents are immigrants from Italy. They went into the restaurant business. I have one younger brother, who's 11 years younger, and I played ball in the streets with my cousins. We had a big family. You know, in New York, there were seasons: baseball season, football season. Hockey wasn't that good at it because I couldn't skate, and basketball I wasn't good. But baseball and football I played. I played a lot, and baseball. You watch the Yankees on. I'm a Yankee fan. Watched the Yankees on TV, and when I was a kid, after '64, they sucked. So
Yeah,
until Steinbrenner bought them in the '70s, that they became the team that won World Series, right? And football, we used to watch wrestling on Saturdays. The original, the WWF that's on now, the original wrestling was the WWF. It belonged to Vince McMahon's father. And every Saturday, they would have wrestling Saturdays, Tuesday nights. And it's one Saturday, I'm watching it. I'm at my aunt's house. It was like in the morning. And they announced the different wrestlers. And they announced this guy, Ernie Ladd, plays with the San Diego Chargers. Ernie Ladd, who was a Charger, number 99, used to, because they didn't get paid a lot of money back then. Those guys needed side jobs,
yeah,
and he was a wrestler.
yeah,
So I watched it, and the next day, I knew in New York at that time, CBS Channel 2 was CBS in New York. They had the NFL games. Channel 4 NBC had the AFL games. And the Jets were on a 1 o'clock game because they were in New York, and then there was a 4 o'clock game. You'd always get two games, and the 4 o'clock game happened to be the Chargers.
damn,
And I remember watching it, and I seen their jerseys, I seen the lightning bolt, and I seen this guy number 19 play. I seen him run down the field and catch touchdowns, and the quarterback John Hadel, and the receiver was Lance Orward, and they had Keith Lincoln, and I fell in love. So
damn,
that
bro.
was my team.
Wow,
And
what
I
a
went out, and yeah,
what a story, man. You were there. You've been a fan since before the merger, back when it was AFL and NFL. That's crazy, man.
I went for the Jets.
Yeah,
I went for Kansas City in Super Bowl one. I even went for Oakland in Super Bowl two because I'm an AFL fan.
yeah, I
Super
feel that.
Bowl three, I went for the Jets. And Super Bowl four, I knew Kansas City was going to win.
Yeah,
I remember watching that game. I always liked Len Dawson. He was like, if my best player of a non-Charger was Len Dawson of the Chiefs.
yeah. I mean, dude, that
He
was
was,
a long time before my time, but I've heard a lot about him. He's famous. I know I've heard of Len Dawson for sure. And yeah, sounds awesome, man.
so you heard of that famous play in the Super Bowl where Hank Stram was wired for that Super Bowl four. He was wired for that game, and he calls that play. He liked to hear himself talk, and he sends in 65 horsepower trap. He sends it in, and that's the play that Mike Garrett breaks it into the end zone, and that ices the game for the Chiefs. So that's the Chiefs. That's the AFL. I was always an AFL fan, and to my fellow fans out there, today's football is not NFL football. It may be called NFL, but it's AFL football.
Yeah.
The names on the back were AFL. The 2-point conversion, AFL. The fact that the scoreboard is your official clock, that's AFL rulings. The way they throw the ball today, that's AFL style. If someone my age was watching NFL games, you would see run, 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 punt. Run, 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 square out. Nobody pushed the ball down the field the way the AFL did, because the AFL had to find reasons to get people in their seats.
Damn.
The new teams on the block, the guy had to bring some sort of excitement in. And the Chargers, unfortunately, they were always there every year. They lost the first two AFL championships, but they won in '63. And in '64, they didn't get there, but '65 and '66, they lost to the Bills back-to-back years. And then after that, there was a big downswing for the Chargers. They became a 500 team. And I would say up until the point where finally, Gilman retired, and they got to the point they brought coaches in where he made the move eventually to Don Coryell.
Yeah.
And that he ushered in that football that we know Air Coryell.
Wow.
But they never had that team to put it all together growing up. And for me, out in New York, if the Giants played at home, it was blacked out, and I would get a road game. But the AFL wasn't on Channel 2. I had to wait for the Jets. Either they were playing on the road or they were a 1 o'clock game. So, but twice a month, I would get the Chargers, whether it was the Chiefs, whether it was because of 4 o'clock game, the Chiefs or the Raiders or the Broncos, who weren't that good in the early 60s. I watched my team. I seen some great games, and they had great players, and it was always exciting things to watch. And to just understand this, like in the newspaper, when I'd buy the newspaper the next day as a kid, there'd be like, I'd hope to look at an article if there was something to read, just to read about your team. Be a quarter page, not a quarter page, like a 3-inch column about each game. And I would revel in it because I was reading about who Hadel threw a touchdown, did Brad Hubbard run for a touchdown. And then once a week, a newspaper came out. It was called the Pro Football Weekly. I told the other podcast, it cost 75 cents in the 60s. That was a lot of money. That's $1 less a quarter as a kid, So I would buy that paper, and the inside on page 2, there was always an article by, are you from California?
Yeah, I'm from San Jose. It's near San Francisco.
Okay. Well, there was a great columnist called Jerry Maggi. He was based out of San Diego. If you Google him, you'll see he was a big Charger writer, and he would always call his little team. He would always write an article on page 2 of that weekly. His little team, he would call it, and he would talk about what they did or what they didn't do, and then there'll be a highlight of the game, an article on the game. What the way we hear it was an article of this did this team did this, and it was like, it was news, it was information. You wanted information. Until years later, I found out to a friend of mine that if I went into Manhattan, there was a newsstand that I could buy a newspaper from another city. So I would go on a Wednesday in Manhattan and buy the San Diego Tribune and read about what happened the previous Sunday.
Damn.
And that was for many years until the internet came along and shrunk the world, made it easier for me to get information. I'm sure if there was a fan from LA who wanted to follow a team in the East, it shrunk the world for him too.
Yeah.
And so I followed the teams. I would, because I knew how they ran, I would look at the schedule and I would see there's a good chance on this Sunday they could be on live. Because the Jets are away, the Giants are away. That means they could be a 4 o'clock game.
And you got to be there. You got to be there watching it, huh?
Yeah, you gotta be at home watching it. There was no VCRs back then.
Yeah.
In 2002, DirecTV was able finally came into my neighborhood in Brooklyn, and I signed up for it. And from 2002 on, my daughter and I, uh, my big girl, we watched all the games. She's very athletic. She she's she's got pictures. She went to Charger training camp. She was with um, Mel, Melvin Ingram. She was with
Nice.
Phillips. She went. She would go to the camps in the exhibition, the beginning part of the season. And when she'd go, she went to Miami. She used to work out at the gym where a couple of Chargers used to work out. And do you remember that game they beat Baltimore
In the
in the
playoffs?
playoffs with
Oh yeah.
Rivers in
Yeah.
eight?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, there's a famous photo. I have it in my phone. I'll try to see how I can send it. There's a famous photo that is taken near the end of the game, and they show all these Charger fans cheering. And if you look at the photo to the far left, they caught her in it. She's in it too.
Damn.
She wasn't afraid to speak her piece too.
Oh yeah. No, you can't be.
And I went to some nice games
Yeah.
you know what game I was at?
Which one?
I was at that the Ice Bowl game with
Oh, with the
my daughter.
Bengals?
The one at no. The one in '95, when the Jet fans, it was the last game of the year with Stan Humphries, and the Chargers came back and won that game and made the playoffs, where they threw all the fans through the ice on the field, and
Oh
the
shit.
Charger assistant coach got hit in the head. This guy was a Vietnam veteran, and they almost killed him.
Damn.
And the Meadowlands says they weren't Giant fans, they were Jet fans, because the Giants didn't want to see the game because they were already eliminated.
Yeah.
I was at that game, and at the end of the game, we were sitting in the upper deck, and the Giants were driving, and the quarterback throws a pass, and we're looking from top down, and he throws it right into the end zone, and Sean Gale cuts right in front of the guy, goes up 5 yards, and then swings right. And now I'm looking from top down, so you can see the whole play. And he goes right down the sidelines, 95 yards, 100 yards, and puts the
Damn.
ball away in the end zone.
Oh yeah.
And that was a classic game, but I was there for that one.
Damn.
And to say it to all my fans, I lost a family member 3 days ago. We buried him today.
Damn.
My cousin Donnie. He was a Ranger fan. We're watching the Rangers in hockey. He was a Jet fan, but he always able to get tickets. He got me tickets. I would take my daughter to the Charger game. My first Charger game was the Drew Brees was the QB then, and Vincent Jackson made his first appearance. And that's the famous game where Drew Brees throws a pass to the outside. LT gets it,
He throws
runs
it
down
back.
the sideline. No, he runs down
Oh.
and he dekes out Ty Law so much that Ty Law cracked his ankle.
Oh
You
shit.
know, Ty Law, and went into the end zone. If you Google LT and Ty Law, you'll show you that play. It's a 21-yard pitch to the outside, but LT dekes him, goes him right in.
I think I remember that.
The next game we went was at Giant Stadium now. Rivers against Manning.
Oh
And
yeah.
in this game, they went back and forth, but the Chargers stopped the Giants, forced them to get a field goal, and not go for the winning touchdown. Chargers got the ball with like a minute something left, and he had a couple of short passes. Then Rivers hits
Vincent Jackson?
Darren Sproles.
No, wasn't it Vincent
First,
Jackson?
yeah. No,
Oh.
first he hits Darren Sproles for 30 yards over the middle.
Oh yeah.
He gets him close, and then we're sitting. So picture this: we're sitting in the upper decks. My daughter's got a LT jersey on, and all the Giant fans all game giving it to her. You know what I mean? But she takes it because she knows what she's doing. She
Yeah.
knows she's played ice hockey. So we're in the upper deck. So we're looking downward, and Rivers is going from right to left. And on this play, he throws the ball to the far side of the end zone. So we watched the whole The whole play, we see that ball go up and
Damn.
trajectory goes right into Jackson's arm. And it's like the place gets quiet. And then she gets up and she says, "What happened? Is there a power outage? There's no sound."
Hell yeah, bro. I
And
remember that game. That was awesome.
yeah, Eli Manning never beat the Chargers.
I don't think he did, huh? No, I don't think he did.
No, he never beat the Chargers.
Yeah. Damn, dude.
And at the end of that game, when I was leaving, we were leaving, going back to the train. I couldn't get over all the Charger fans there.
Mm.
That's when I realized this is great. I'm not alone.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that's an awesome thing when you're at an away stadium and you see the Chargers fans, at the away stadiums, like hell yeah, that's a good feeling.
My brothers-in-laws are from New Orleans. So 2013, we went to New Orleans for a long weekend. Great place. If you like food, music, and you like to
Yeah.
drink, it's the best city in the world for
New
that,
Orleans.
right? How his wife's uncle, he passed just a few months ago. There's a doctor from Metairie in Louisiana, but he was a season ticket holder for the Saints from the very beginning. So he took us to the game, and the Chargers lost that game sadly because there was an interception taken in for the end zone, but they said Melvin Ingram hit Breeze. And Breeze was their QB in the chest. They called a late hit. The penalty was removed, and he drove them down. But that was a noisy stadium.
Mm.
Wow.
Damn. I think I remember that game
80,000
too.
people.
Yeah.
You probably could have, because if you were in LA, they probably on the West Coast, they should have showed that game. They would
No,
probably showed it.
I've watched every Chargers game like every single year since 2006. I remember it was like LT that helped me become a fan, and I don't miss even a play anymore. Like I'm crazy. I'm like obsessive, and I feel like I don't really remember that New Orleans game that much, but I should remember it. I don't know, but it sounds crazy.
So when you were living in San Jose, right? You say you're from San Jose?
Yeah.
You would get all the games, the Charger games, home and away?
Nah, but I've found ways to play the game because you got to go on some websites and stuff. I probably shouldn't say too much about it because I don't think it's entirely
Okay.
legal. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna
Okay.
I'm gonna watch the
Yeah.
Chargers game one way or another. You're gonna have to stop me, to watching the Chargers games.
I was pricing satellites that used to be 10-foot dishes when they first came out
Yeah.
to put on my roof. But my mother won't let me put a satellite on the roof. She said, God forbid the wind would come. And there was like $10,000
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
DirecTV shrunk the world for me.
Yeah.
Shrunk the world for me for the Chargers. They used to have Marty Steinheimer had their own show, Chargers Weekly. I used to watch that every week.
Mm.
It was like that's like when you see a movie and they would bring the mail that crossed over the Atlantic to another place. Hey, this
Yeah.
is what happened in the old country. That's what it was for me, to get information, because information is how you follow what you believe in. And in football, I don't gamble, so my feelings for my team is not based on money.
Yeah.
It's just based on wanting them to win.
Yeah.
And no matter how low I've gotten, there's always a reason to get back up and feel good.
Yeah. I mean,
And
no, you go ahead. There's always next year though.
well, we've been telling ourselves that for a long time, haven't we? All teams do
Yeah.
that. That's how it works in
Absolutely.
all sports. I mean, the
Yeah.
Rangers in hockey, they had a 54-year drought until they won in '94.
Yep.
But I feel this team, because so when Herbert was drafted by the Chargers, and after that first game, when he comes in,
Yep.
and the next game, I pinned the tag. I said, thank God Tedesco took the QB that Miami didn't want.
Yep.
Because if you knew what Herbert was, no way you make Miami give them the choice. You would have to trade above them.
Yep, pretty
If
much.
you knew today what Herbert was and you needed a QB, you were gonna wait for Miami not to pick him, or you
Nah,
would
dude.
make a deal for the team in front of Miami.
If I knew what Herbert was, I
Right or
would
wrong?
trade. I would trade all 7 picks of that draft just to move up 1 pick for Herbert. I'd trade all 7 picks. I pick one player that'd be Justin Herbert, and I'm done with the draft for the day. I'm good.
When he in the game he came in, when he hit the Kansas City linebacker and knocked him out of the game,
Yeah,
it wasn't the look. It wasn't the look on our faces on the TV screen. If you could ever get to look at the faces because he knocked him out closer to our sideline.
yeah,
Look at the faces of the Chargers.
yeah.
Wow,
No,
this kid,
yeah.
this kid's a rock.
Yeah, no, I knew right when he came in, he scored a touchdown his first drive, and then he threw passing touchdowns, and he was really taking it to the Chiefs. And I think they had just won the Super Bowl or something like that, or they were a great
Yeah,
team, and he's taking it to them. And I'm thinking, oh, this kid's something. And how lucky, honestly, how lucky have we been? At least at the quarterback position, but the rest of the team has been lacking, but at least we got Herbert, like our savior. Hopefully.
well, and you know, I give Dean credit for realizing what I'm sure he meant best when he hired Staley. He went outside the box. He wanted to bring somebody in who had an understanding of the defense, create a defense that could make life easier for Herbert.
Yeah. Yep.
But I don't think he knew because for me, that first year, all the Chargers had to do was play for a tie with the Raiders,
Yep.
and they would have been in the playoffs. And I think if a coach knew how hard it was to make the playoffs, he called that timeout. The Raiders said, "You know what? F you. We're gonna go." They ran the ball. They won it and they won the game.
Yep.
The Raiders were just like the Chargers. They didn't care. They just wanted to get in the playoffs too.
I know, man. That was just one of the
And
freaking
all
so many heartbreaks.
you remember you remember that game, right? Yeah. And the way
Absolutely.
he drove
Yeah.
down twice
Yeah.
and hit Mike Williams with those darts.
Yep.
And
Yep.
then the following 2 years, he's getting beat up.
Yep. Yep.
He got beat up against a Kansas City game with the ribs, and then the Oakland game with his finger.
Yeah.
They were on top of him. So I trust all you guys with your evaluations of the picks. I go
Yeah.
by a gut feeling, but
Yeah.
I have enough time to watch the statistic, right? But I did say when everybody was saying they want a receiver, they want a receiver, they want a receiver. When they mentioned this offensive tackle, that was like one of the best. I said, Harbaugh's going to build a wall.
Yep.
He's
Yep.
got one side of the world done. You build a wall. Herbert, we don't need to see 50 passes a game. We've
Hell
watched
no.
that our whole life. We've
Yeah.
seen Rivers do it. I've seen Faust do it. I've seen Hadel do it. No,
Yeah.
show me winning the games in the fourth quarter.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. You gotta grind
Right
it
or
out.
wrong.
You gotta grind it out.
And and you imagine Herbert fresh in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. I know. It's. I feel like
He's an intelligent young man.
I feel like the Chargers have been blessed with so many great quarterbacks. You could say Hadel, Fouts, Breeze, even, and then Rivers, and now Herbert. It's just like we are thinking that we have to just like put everything on the pass game, put everything on the quarterback's back, but it's not how things should be done. We need to balance, we need to diversify and give our quarterbacks like a break. Let's not break their back by piggybacking on them. We need to give them a run game and a defense and a wall of O-line, and turn back turn our quarterbacks a little bit more into game managers. That's how you win. You just be smart. That's what I think.
Hey, what's your first name again, brother? I'm
My
sorry.
name is Gabe.
All right, Gabe. In 94, that's the team. That was a blue-collar team in 94.
Yep.
One superstar, Junior. That's
Yep.
it.
Yep.
And that team went to the show.
Yep.
No superstar receiver other than Tony Martin and Stan Humphries, who stood in that pocket, took the hits, and made the throws that had to be made.
Yep.
And we went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. That's how it's to be done.
And from, yeah. And you know, you could be flamboyant, but as long as you got that team balance and they believe in each other, and there's the coach there. Bobby Ross was a good coach for the Chargers.
Yeah.
The Chargers were the first team ever to go 0-4 and make it to the playoffs.
Yep. Yep.
That team the year before went 0-4 and made it to the playoffs.
Oh yeah.
They beat Kansas City and then they lost to Miami in the pouring rain.
Yep.
And then the following year they beat Miami at home. And they went to Pittsburgh and beat the Steelers.
Yep.
And then the years later, like in the Rivers years, he did all he could. You had LT, you had Marcus McNeil, Chris Dealman, and Nick Hardwick. You had a solid left side, but the right side was always Sean Olivier, but he would get hurt. They didn't have the 4-5.
Ed Clary.
Right. And they didn't have they had a good O-line, and they had a good defensive front, the three, and they had great linebackers, but that secondary hurt us. The secondary in fourth quarter of games would let us down. And that gets us to 2006.
And that's
when they got
2006, I think, is when I first really became a Chargers fan. I didn't miss a game after starting with that season.
And I give you credit because the last game that you watched that year, I couldn't go to work the next day.
What a heartbreaker.
I couldn't go to work the next day.
Yeah.
And I hated Marty for that.
Yeah.
I hated Marty until years later when they did on the NFL Network, they do the biographies on players. And they did it on Marty. And there's a clip in the video of Marty telling the Chargers that day, if you get the ball on fourth down, go down.
Damn.
Go down.
That one damn play.
That was the game.
Oh my God.
There might have been 5 or 6 minutes. Could you imagine if the Chargers pick up that ball and now he hands off to LT? I guarantee you LC would have broke one for 30 yards because the Patriots would have been so devastated. The Chargers kept, and you know where's another reason why they lost that game? Because of the media. The media kept on hyping Wade Phillips and Cameron, I think the offensive coordinator was. Cam Cameron. He was the offensive coordinator, and Wade Phillips was the defensive. And the media was saying, oh, head coaches. And both those guys went away from their game plan because they wanted to show off.
Yeah.
And they didn't play the way we played. You know, that's the only game that Charger team lost at home.
That season? Yeah.
That season. They never lost at home.
Man, I gotta say, it's just something about the Chargers is that they are so exciting, yet so snake bitten. They God seems like he just doesn't want us to ever succeed. You know, we had a great team, heartbreak with the Marlon McCree. Freaking, we get so close. We look like we're so good. We just need a break, and we just get heartbroken. The Jaguars game just a couple years ago, we were up 27-0, and we lose. It's just like, why does this always happen to this team?
Because they put no, you're right, but that's a great point because I don't want to blame the coach, but still he might have been over his head because the truth of the matter is, if we would have been able to run that ball in the second half, we're not having this conversation.
Absolutely. And that's a big reason why I created this YouTube account, because I'm tired of hearing all these people talk about, pass the ball deep, pass the ball, keep the ball in Herbert's hands. I'm like, I hear it from everyone. I heard it for years on like the social media, whatever. I'm like, no, bro, take the ball out of Herbert's hands, run the ball, hit hard, let's get physical, build the trenches. diversified. That's how the Chargers succeed. It's not about passing it deep anymore. It's about diversifying, and that's why I had to make this account.
Well, you made the right thing, and by doing that, it softens up the other team's defense for
Yeah.
when Herbert decides to throw the ball.
Yes.
Because he's
Exactly.
got the guys open.
Yeah.
And and
Exactly.
and and so my motto is beat us.
Yeah.
That's it. Beat us. We don't want to lose ourselves. Beat us. If you're a better team, beat us.
Pretty
That's
much.
it.
Yeah.
And that's been my mantra since and in the beginning. The worst loss for me
What?
was the
Yeah.
2009 game against the Jets. They played scared that day.
Oh, I remember that one.
They,
The
we
wild card game, right?
whatever game it was, we were at home.
Yep. Yeah.
Was
I
it no?
know.
The Jets played the wild card game. They had to come to us.
Oh, was it division? Okay, maybe it was. Huh?
2009, we had to buy.
Oh shit! Yeah, we went 13-3 or something that year, I think.
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
Yep. Yep.
And they played scared.
They had Darrell Revis on Vincent Jackson, I think, and he got
Yeah,
a
yeah,
he got
yeah.
it.
But still, they played. He threw 2 picks. They played scared.
Yep. Oh my
They were worried
god.
about the Jet defense and stuff like that. And they
Uh,
had that rookie quarterback beat us. A rookie in California. For
fuck.
me, that was the hardest one. Listen, you lost to the Patriots, you lost to Bill Belichick, and a quarterback that already had won 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah, I gotta tell. I was gonna ask you actually. This is one of the questions. I haven't really asked you too many questions. I got on here because we're already hitting all the questions pretty much that I was gonna ask. But I was gonna ask you.
Go.
I was gonna ask you. Well, I'll ask. What is the worst moment you have of being a Chargers fan? The worst game or worst moment? And I'll answer it after you. But you answer. Was it the Jets game?
The Jets game. I'm
Yep.
from New York. I'm surrounded by Jet fans.
Yep.
The Jet game. We
Yeah.
were a better team.
Yep. I mean that makes sense, man. You see, for me, I've had a lot. There's been I know but there's so many things, so many games I could choose. But you know what? For me, I don't know. I want to say it was the freaking AFC Championship against the Patriots in 2008, I believe, maybe the year before. Because I remember I was a little kid. I was thinking we are one game away from the damn Super Bowl. If we can pull this off, this is going to be absolutely mind-blowing. And Tom Brady just dinked and dunked us. Philip Rivers had the torn ACL, and they just bled the clock out. I remember they got the ball the Patriots got the ball. We're down a touchdown or something in the last 5 minutes, and I don't think we got the ball back. And I just remember after losing that game, I went home. I was like 11 or 10. I cried all day. All day I cried, and we have never been back to that point. That was the highest we ever got, and we never been back. That's my lowest
Do you
point.
know who stopped Michael Turner on 4th down?
No, I don't remember.
The Chargers went for it on 4th down. You know who stopped Michael Turner?
I would guess it's
He's not
Harrison.
with us.
Oh,
He's not
Sale?
with us anymore.
Was it
Junior.
Sale? Was it?
Is it? Yes.
Oh, shit.
Yes.
Damn.
Junior went to the show.
Fuck. Yeah,
and
man.
It was 2004. Junior, because we cut him.
Damn.
They cut him.
Yeah.
And that was AJ Smith. It was a good GM, but I didn't like him.
He seemed a little arrogant or a little brash.
Yes, that's the word. We thought who he was.
Yeah.
You know, AJ Smith was cutting. He was letting Dealman go. Chris Dealman. He was letting him walk.
Yep.
What's his name? Dean stepped in and negotiated a deal and gave him more money because he knew losing that left tackle, you're not getting anything better than that. And Chris Dealman was a converted defensive player to an offensive guard, and he was great.
Yeah, he was really good.
Look who he drafted. Like, I always wanted to know who did when we took Ryan Matthews, who did we pass up? We passed up so many guys that could have been Chargers. But yes, that game hurt us. Even the first Jet game in 2004.
Yeah.
When Drew Brees was our QB, and even John Madden was saying, to on the TV. Throw a pass to um to Gates. Get an extra 5 yards so Caden could kick that field goal and make it go through.
Yep.
I mean, Caden, what happened to him? Right? In that Jet game, he missed 3 field goals. The one in 2009.
Fuck, man.
So if you said, Anthony, where did you park your car? I might tell you, Gabe, I can't remember. But if you ask Anthony what happened on this day, and it was a an effing thing that broke my heart, I can tell you.
Yeah.
Okay, I remember everything, but there, and we remember it
Oh,
because I know that when the good does come around, I will never forget it.
that's literally
I will never.
that's my whole reasoning about being a Chargers fan. So much pain, so much suffering, but when we finally get that glory, it's all that pain and suffering that we've experienced is gonna turn into one fucking atom nuclear bomb of happiness and enjoyment. It's gonna all be worth it. But we're waiting for that day.
I told um, the gentleman from the other podcast that this year I will. Well, I don't know whether we open up the first week or the second week. I'm gonna go watch a game. I never been to a home game. I've always been on enemy territory.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go to LA, take a trip, stay for a long weekend, go to Thunder Rally, meet everybody, meet all my family, hug all my family, and let
Hell yeah.
them know, yeah, you can survive. I'm
Yep.
living proof. You can be happy, you can be sad, you can survive.
Hey man, you know what? It's like we're some cockroaches. You could give us the most suffering. We're not dying. We're not going nowhere. We're gonna be Chargers fans. You know, we're cockroaches. We're not gonna die.
Can I share my story from in the 2000 with the Chargers?
Yes.
So I worked for the Carpenters Union, and I was a business organizer, and they sent us to a convention out in Palm Springs, and I was there for 3 days. I was able to take my wife and daughters, and one day, the end of the day, I rented a car with another couple. They were from Canada, and he actually had there was before GPS. He knew how to read a map better than me, and we drove from Palm Springs to San Diego, and I went to 4020 Murphy Canyon Road, which was the Chargers headquarters in San Diego.
Mhm.
I went in there with my daughter. I met the lady Georgette Rogers, who was the lead secretary, the receptionist, and my daughter and I went around. We seen photos on the wall. We took a picture of John Hadel and Lance Allworth together. And I said to Georgette, if I left you a note, would you get it to Lance Allworth? And she
Wow.
says, yes, I will. So I went to the side. She gave me a pad. I wrote a note. I don't have great handwriting. I printed it. I wrote a note and I left it her. Now, months go past. It's in February. And I'm working in my office in Manhattan. And on my phone, I get a phone number that comes in 760. Says, I don't know no area code. In New York, it was 516, 914,
Hmm.
but there was never no 726.
Yeah.
I answered the call. The guy's name is Tom Black. He introduces himself to me. He says, my name is Tom Black. I'm the PR man for Lance Allworth. Lance Allworth took heart to your letter that you sent him. He says you're a real true friend. He would
Wow.
like to send you some stuff.
Damn.
So I'm in the moving process. So a lot of stuff is in storage. He sent me an autographed helmet. He
Wow.
sent me an autographed football. Lance Allworth Hall of Fame Bambi, 1978. He sent me photos. And then at Christmas time, he sent me an autographed jersey, baby
Wow.
blue. Lance Allworth Hall of Fame, 1978.
Wow.
I had it framed. I have it hung, but I have it away in storage. If
Damn.
I get a picture one day, I said, how do you? It's like saying, Anthony, I'm sorry I never you never see me win a championship. I did see him win a championship because he caught the winning pass in '71 with the Cowboys.
Oh
They
shit.
tr- they traded him. That's like trading Babe Ruth.
Yeah.
They
Damn.
traded him for two nothing
Oh my
players.
gosh, dude! I don't know of a team that has given their fans more heartbreak than the Chargers. Maybe it's just what I know, but oh my god, every single thing I hear about the Chargers is just heartbreak, man, and it's hard. It's so hard, man. But
So so
fuck,
there's hope,
yeah, there's
right?
hope.
Because
Yeah, yep,
Chicago Cubs, right?
yep,
They waited over 100 years.
yeah, and they got
The
it.
Red
They got it,
Sox,
man.
the Red Sox waited over close to what from 1915 or something like that when
Yep,
they
something like
traded
that.
Babe Ruth. So we've suffered our pain, but so I originally, so when it came to picking a coach this year, I was saying, you know what? Give me a coach who has the ring on his finger, who can show these guys this is how you get it. So if it was Belichick or Vrabel, somebody who's been in that show and knows what it takes to get there.
I thought the same thing. I wanted Belichick. That was my guy. I wanted Belichick to come in and straighten us out.
But if they're looking now and seeing what they've done, Harbaugh came in with a plan. He brought the right people in. He's going to get these guys in great physical shape. They're not going to get beat up in the trenches. They're going to have key players. We're going to beat the shit, excuse me. We're going to beat up the other team's defensive line with our offensive line. We're going to run the ball, and we're still going to throw the ball, but when we want to, not
Hey,
because we have to.
amen to that. Cheers to that.
And do you travel to any games, Gabe?
I go to when they play the 49ers. I go to every game they play in Levi Stadium right here. I live pretty close to it, so I go to every single game wearing all my Chargers stuff. That's about it, though.
How long would it take you to get to LA?
No, I've been to a few Chargers games in LA. I just went last year. I go to at least one Chargers game in LA per year. And last year I went to the Lions, which was another freaking heartbreaker. And after that, I said, I'm not giving this team another penny until they change. I couldn't do it. But now things seem like they're doing better. I'm going to go to another game this year. It takes me about 6.5, 7 hours to drive down to LA, I believe, something like that.
So you got to plan yourself at least couple of days at least, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm trying to remember that game. We took the lead towards the end, or we tied the game. We should have won that game too.
The Lions?
Yeah.
Dude, honestly, the Lions were a much better team, but Herbert is so good that he just kept coming back. We were down, I think, 2 touchdowns. He came back throwing amazing passes, and we just can't. The teams just sucked besides Herbert and a few other players.
Wait.
Allen.
That's the game. Keenan dropped 2 balls.
No, that was that was the Packers.
Oh, okay.
That was the Packers.
Okay.
Yeah, but we could not stop a nosebleed in that game. A nosebleed. We could not run the ball for shit.
No. And I think that no one's really used our number 3 on defense as he should have been used.
That team was just dysfunctional under Telesco and Staley. Dysfunctional.
Staley was over his head, and Telesco, he was a penny pitcher, and
he's a bum.
Yeah, the game against. You remember the game when we beat Cincinnati in the playoffs in Cincinnati? Donald Butler made that.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Donald Butler recovered that ball and was able to. He hit that Ladarius Green. Rivers did, and then the following week we went to Denver.
Yep, and we didn't have a hope.
But the first drive, Manning threw a ball and it should have been intercepted. It went right through the cornerback's hands.
Yeah, but
it wasn't that it was.
You go ahead.
You know, they signed Louis Vasquez that year.
Oh yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
made
He was
Louis
good.
Vasquez go. He was good, but they made these guys walk. They wanted to always go cheaper.
Yeah. It just seems like I'm just tired of being like this little brother team that is trying to be so like we're crossing our fingers and hopeful. We should be a dominant team. Like why can't we be a dominant team where we're the favorites, you know? Why can't we do that, you know?
You know when you said like the Chargers are like a jinx team, you mentioned like they're always getting.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna give you an example. 1980 is the champ. Anthony remembers all the pain. 1980 championship game against the Raiders. Third play of the game. It was two quick runs. Third play of the game. Plunkett drops back, throws a pass over the middle, maybe right, pass right by the linebackers, goes off the halfback's hands, goes right into Raymond Chester's hands, the tight end. He goes down the sideline for a touchdown. That was the year they changed the rule that a ball could go from one player to another on the same team. Okay, before that rule, it had to hit to go a defensive person. And that year, the starting quarterback for the Raiders was Dan Pastorini. And in game 5, the Chargers beat the shit out of Dan Pastorini. They had that. They had Louis Kelcher. They had Fred Dean. They had Big Hands Johnson. They broke his leg. They knocked him out of the game. And this reject comes in the game, Jim Plunkett, who was the number 1 pick. It never turned out to be nothing. But he had a good coach in Tom Flores. And he had a good running back and he had a good defense.
Yep.
And he won that game. And they beat us in the championship game. And they won that Super Bowl. So
Yep.
that's jinxed.
Yeah, that's
When you
jinx, man.
when you when you when you create the momentum for the other side.
Yeah, man. I mean, dude, it's crazy to me how jinx this team really seems to be. Like you just keep adding up story after story. I don't think there's any teams in the NFL that have it like have as many of these fucked up moments as we do, you know?
The Jets got a few, but they have a Super Bowl.
They got a Super Bowl, so it's all good, you know? I mean, if we had a
They,
Super Bowl, I shit, okay. We still got that.
me too.
Shit.
Me too.
Shit. So,
So I have a somewhat feeling of that feeling because where I'm sitting right now is where my TV was in 1994
okay.
when they beat Pittsburgh and we were going to the Super Bowl. That game. And I can remember that feeling of crying. I remember opening day. That opening day, that year, was on the road in Denver. And that game, Denver, Anthony Miller, you remember him? One of
No,
ours?
no, I don't think so.
He was the number 1 pick, free agent, went to Denver. Opening kickoff, he takes it to the house. Denver has a big lead. They're driving in the end of the half. Stanley Richard picks a ball off near the end zone, goes down the sideline, takes it to the house. By the end of the game, we wind up having the lead, and Elway is throwing the ball, and it goes out of his hands, and it flies right into Junior's hands. And Junior grabs it, and the game is over. And I knew that day, that was a special day for me and my family. Uh, September 4th, 1994, marked the 10-year anniversary of someone that I lost in my life, and I knew they weren't going to lose, and they didn't lose. And
Wow.
that game got us to the show.
Yep. Yeah.
So it's not always having all the superstars. It's
Oh
having
no.
all the people know what they're
Yeah.
doing, what's the objective. And I think, I think, you know, it's where we are. This is our penance. You're a Charger fan. You got to
Yeah.
earn it. You got to show the good. You can't deny the pain. Then you're not a Charger fan. You got to wear it on your chest. But you can't just be these fans out there that talk. You have to know the past and know your present.
Yeah. No,
You
you
can't
do.
just talk to the moment. You have to go back. You have to listen to the people who were there before you. I was a carpenter by trade. I listened to the men that were in the business 30 years before me. They
Yeah.
teach me how to use a handsaw, teach me how to use a skill saw, teach me how to use a screw gun.
Yep.
You learn from repetitiveness. So with us, you learn yeah. Uh, the wide world of sports used to have this saying, the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat.
Yep.
We know the agony of defeat. It's
Yep.
about time we know the thrill of victory.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Am
And
I?
oh, you go ahead. Go ahead. Finish your point.
No, that's it. That's what I'm trying to say. That's
Yeah,
it.
I agree, man. And that's why, I mean, we gotta be very grateful for we gotta be excited for what's going on. And I gotta ask you, how confident are you in Harbaugh and Herbert that we can actually get it done? Like if you had to put it on the scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you gonna think that Herbert and Harbaugh win a Super Bowl in their tenure with the Chargers?
I, I say we're going to see one because Herbert's got the physical skill and he's got the mental abilities and he's got the internal, what's the word?
The drive.
Yeah, and he's not afraid to make it happen. Okay, give this guy the up. Listen, Brady didn't always throw all the balls. He knew when to throw the ball. Give
Yeah.
this guy the choice. Give him the material it is to make the perfect soup,
Yep.
cook the perfect steak. So if it's not going to happen now with this coaching staff that everybody's got a specific task, I always thought the Chargers always got hurt. I always thought they never had the best people for training.
Yep. Yeah. Weak.
Always getting hurt. So and yeah, I even forgotten that he was one of our QB. He was a QB for us.
Yeah.
So he's got some karma with the team. It's time for him to give back.
Yeah.
I remember Doug Flutie. Doug Flutie. I love Doug Flutie because Doug Flutie had balls. He wasn't afraid to do
Yeah.
things. You know, he
Hell
had
yeah.
that. He had. Hey, I seen that pass the day after Thanksgiving. That famous pass to the college game.
Yeah. The
I
Hail Mary.
Had of my friends. Yeah, he threw it from wherever he was. He veered back that tiny guy. He threw it, and it was caught.
Yeah.
There were when you gamble and you make money when your team loses, even when your team wins, it doesn't feel as the same. You
I'd
know,
rather.
it's
I'd
like
rather. Yeah. I'd rather lose money and have my team win.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
Um.
I just like it that way.
Yeah.
I think I'm all in with the coaching staff and the way they were just this draft. Just listening to you guys determine the draft. I was so happy. I was so happy that they took Jerry Rice's son.
Yeah. Yeah.
I felt that's good karma. Jerry Rice has got to stand on our sideline.
Yeah. Seriously, let's get someone that knows some shit. Maybe he can even give us some pointers.
You know, you just when you when you can show the rings and he's been there and how could you not listen?
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think what they have to do, one thing this year the Chargers have to do is Phil Rivers got to, hey, what's he waiting for? Retire so we can retire your jersey.
Yeah.
What is he waiting for?
Yeah. We got. Well, is he not
Does he
retired?
have no? He never officially retired.
Shit.
He's got to officially retire as the Charger.
Yeah, no, he needs to. This guy, that honestly, so that brings me up another question I was gonna ask you. I was gonna ask you who your favorite player is, and I'll answer first. My favorite player of all time is Philip Rivers because of his toughness, his leadership, his passion, his greatness. He was such a great quarterback. My favorite player is Philip Rivers, and I respect him as a player and as a human being. His morals, his passion, his fire inspires me in more than just sports and life in general. Philip Rivers is my favorite athlete of all time. Who is your favorite player of all time?
It's Lance Allworth.
Why?
Well, because He was the best receiver in the AFL. He was the first player from the AFL to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. He set the standard for 1,000-yard seasons. When he played, a defensive back could hit you all the way down the field until the ball was in the air.
Wow.
So in the AFL, play bump and run, not today's rules where after 5 yards you can't touch the guy. Those receivers were hit, and he was always Bambi. He was my guy. He was the best receiver I ever saw. He was the first player from the AFL. He goes to the Cowboys, and on the drive that they scored their first touchdown, he catches a key pass over the middle, and Tom Landry says to him when he got traded, he says, "If you block for me, we will win the Super Bowl." As a receiver, and Lance said, "I'll show you how blocking is done." Lance Ogle was a physical specimen, right? He
Yeah.
was a 9.5 runner, and they used to cut back, and he would cut back the defensive ends, and he blocked that game for what was his name, Calvin Hill. He scored the first touchdown, and it was the winning touchdown because the Cowboys won 24-3. And he was wide open all game. When they showed the highlights, just Roger Staubach was, scrambling the whole game and not just standing there and looking for the guys that were open. So he's my GOAT. He's
Oh
the
yeah.
GOAT of the Chargers.
All right.
And
That's
Rivers is the guy, but he's got to call the Chargers and say, "Listen, I want to hang up. I want to come back there." He can't be pissed off.
no. Yeah. I
And
mean, I
the,
I don't know if he is, but maybe. I don't know.
Well, he didn't get they didn't renew him for another 3 or 4 years. I think after what year did he leave? In 19?
No, in
Did he
2019, because Herbert got drafted in 2020.
right, he went to the Colts that year.
He made the playoffs. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And listen, he was there in a lot of great games. He took it and he would always go to the other quarterback. He would shake hands. And I
Oh
used to
yeah.
always watch Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning always talked to him. Like when they shook hands, Peyton Manning just didn't shake and walk away. I used to look at that to see what quarterback would talk. That shows you the respect. Hey,
Yeah.
I know I got a better team than you, and you just don't have the plays that I have. And you could have done this too.
Yeah.
I don't blame him for 2006. I
Yeah.
don't
No.
blame Rivers for
Yeah.
2006.
Rivers beat Peyton Manning twice in the playoffs. So there's that too. But yeah,
Yep.
they
Yeah.
had our
He
number
never.
though.
Oh, you remember that game? The one against with Darren Sproles?
Yeah, I remember where I was. I remember everything about that day. Yeah.
My daughter was in a bar in Brooklyn with her boyfriend, and she's a Charger fan. And when I go to it, when I go out, I never wear my colors because I don't want. If I go to somebody else's stadium, I'm not wearing my colors. That's how I am. I just go there to cheer my team on. And my daughter lets them know I'm a Charger fan.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep. Yep.
And I remember her calling me and I was watching Sproles take that ball on that swing pass down the right side. That's
Wow.
another guy we made walk.
Yep.
We
Yep.
made him
Yep.
walk, and he went and got his ring with the.
With the Eagles,
How
did
can
he?
they? They didn't have the understanding of working their plate, making moves with money to keep people around.
Yeah. Yeah. You
Where,
gotta
where
move the
the other
money around.
teams did.
You gotta make it work.
He got his ring with Drew Brees.
Oh, he did it with the Saints? Did he?
Yeah,
No. Well, did he? Shit.
he went to the Saints in 2010. He was with the Saints.
Fuck.
You double check. I'm almost positive he was with the Saints.
Yeah, I have to
That's
look into
that's
that.
the year. That's the year. It was the 2010, but that was the Super Bowl that year. The Saints beat who they beat. They beat the Colts that year.
Yeah, the Colts. Shit. Well, hey man, we're coming up on an hour. I'm gonna have to go in a second, but I gotta ask you the last question or two questions that I got for you. And before I ask you,
Go ahead.
I gotta say I'm honored to have you on here. I've had a great time, and I would love to have you on in the future as well. But my question to you is, what have you learned from being a Chargers fan, and what is your message to the fans?
What I learned is being a Charger fan is enjoy life, enjoy what you believe in, have fun enjoying what you believe in, and always find something positive when you think it's all negative. It's up to you how you look at things. And knowing that you're Charger fans out there, you're not alone. Some people might have known some victories that you never seen, but they've also known some defeats that you have known or might not have known. So that's my message to the Charger fans. Don't think of the moment. Think of it as a wave coming from one end and going to the other. It's a full circle thing with us. We're waiting for our time. We have the opportunity now this year. They have to beat us.
Yep.
If somebody beats you, if you're in a wrestling match and they beat you, they beat you. They didn't cheat. They have to beat us. I think we're in a position now to play anybody, and we'll know
Yeah.
who we play opening day. When does that happen?
I think
When
that's
do
on
they
the fifth.
release the
I think on the 15th.
of this month?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. What's your last question, brother?
No, that was it, man. That was it. Did you have a good time here?
Anytime you got the opportunity to speak with your family, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's and I'm known even when you're a Charger fan. You know, Charger fan. How you a Charger fan? And then I go to the spiel of why I'm a Charger fan because
Yeah.
I seen this guy play number 19. I love the uniform. I love the lightning bolt,
Yep.
and I'm loyal.
Hey.
Aren't we all? Isn't it nice to have that feeling, win or lose?
Yep.
And I
Hey.
hope that the day that you decide to come down to LA, I would be there too.
Yeah, man, we'll talk. We'll see. We'll try and organize something. I'm gonna go down to a game, but it's funny because your story of how you became a Chargers fan is very similar to mine. Instead of Hadel, it was LaDainian Tomlinson for me, and I love the lightning bolts and all that. And I've told everyone the spiel. People always asking me, "Why are you a Chargers fan?" I'm in San Jose. I'm not even in SoCal, and I tell them very similar things. So yeah, real quick, maybe we can go through these comments. These comments have been coming in a little bit. I haven't really. Sometimes I bring them up while I'm doing it, but we've been having such a good talk. We've been, dude. It says I saw you on the Chargers chat, Tony. You killed it. Much respect. This guy's giving you respect. So thank you, Bolt Maniac. Eddie's giving you respect. Respect, Tony. This dude remembering Marlon McCree. God dang the freaking fumble divisional. Jets game, we couldn't tackle for nothing. The Jets running backs ran all over us. Mark Sanchez, rookie. We got an amen. Y'all helped me through the last hour of work. Well, amen to that. Get on home and crack a beer, brother. And yeah, we are Bolt family right here. So cheers to that. Cheers to Tony. Cheers to what do you want to say? Yeah.
No, I'm pointing to my fans, and I'm beating my heart.
Yeah.
Family,
Hey,
familia in
me
Italian,
too right here. Cheers. Let me chug my beer and close it out. Cheers.
and I'm showing my empty can, brother.
All right, well, you can see it right here. Chargers, San Diego, Los Angeles, whatever. It could be in freaking
Well,
this could be the Alaska Chargers and Antarctica Chargers, freaking North Korea Chargers. I'll still be a Chargers fan. I don't care where they're gonna be, but we're in LA. LA Chargers fans till my last breath. And I'm honored to have Tony Pugliese on the thing. Tony, you come on by anytime. Send me a message. I'd love to have you. Had a great time. Thank you.
when you want to talk, you let me know, brother. Thank you, and to all my fans, have a great year. God bless, and stay strong.
All right. Amen.
Let them beat us.
Let them
You got
let
it, brother. Have a
let
great one.
let them beat us.
Let them
Amen.
beat it. Let
Thank you.
them. Yes. Thank you.
All
Ciao.
right. Ciao.